Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the InterSim Esports Network once again for your Wednesday night. Our last broadcast before we go into the Christmas New Year break. We are bringing you round number 2 of the MSR TCR series tonight. Your location is the Red Bull Ring. Joining me in the booth, special guest once again, here on the InterSim Esports Network is Pete Gretton. Good evening to you, Pete.
Yeah, good evening to you, Aidan. Good evening to PJ and, of course, all the viewers. That's why we come on the screens each and every week to do it. TCR. I bought the car last night for the first time, Aidan, as you know, and I actually think it's a category that I can handle, i.e. I can't handle fast cars. But tonight we've got a whole heap of names, and we're here at Red Bull Ring, or Spielberg, as you just mentioned, Aidan, but it's going to be a great night of racing, I think.
It is, and it's a great track, and it's probably a good segue as we're 17 minutes into this 25-minute qualifying session. Currently leading the way is the 143 of Jordan Ross with a 139.46. Thomas Freeman sitting there second with a 139.77, and Wayne Burke, sitting there in third with a 139.82. But that's probably, like I said, probably a good segue. Let's roll across. I did do a lap of the Red Bull Ring in the TCR car last night. For everyone that knows, my screens are a little bit how you going at the moment, so I do apologise for that. But I reckon before we get into the end of this qualifying session, let's take all the viewers here on the InterSim Esports Network around Red Bull Ring in the TCR car.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to the InterSim Esports Network for another round of the MSR TCR League. You're on board with Aidan Schultz, your commentator tonight, for what will be a great round around Red Bull Ring. So we'll do your lap around Red Bull Ring. Just went through turn 1 there at the moment, so very important to get the gears right here. Selecting the right time as we go up into turn number 2. Not going to be the quickest lap, I can't see a lot of my screens, but down into this corner, down into turn number 1. Get it turned into the corner, hit the apex, try and get out there as quick as you can, up the gears, and select those gears as accurately as you can. So coming down into a downhill braking section, so really important to get the car slowed up and turned in here. So on the brake, down into second, get it turned in, don't take too much on the inside, you will get an off track there if you do. Back up the gears, into third, into fourth. This will be the trickiest part of my lap because I can't see the apex, but back into third here, get it slowly turned in, on the gas as soon as you can, up into fourth, back into third here. It's a front wheel drive, so it wants to push a lot, on the gas again, up into fourth, up into fifth. Final 2 corners. You can take a little bit on the exit here of the second last corner. Back here, gear a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit wide here. Come out, back into third gear. Hit that apex and get on the gas as soon as you can. Take as much as you can. Up the gears we go. And we go into fourth, into fifth, and that is a lap around the Red Bull Ring. On board with myself, Aidan Schultz, in the Hyundai Elantra here for the InterSim Esports Network for what is going to be a great second round of the MSR TCR League tonight. Look forward to bringing you all the action. Look forward to seeing all the drivers here around the Red Bull Ring. No doubt they'll do a lot better than what I've just done, but there you go. That's the Red Bull Ring around in a TCR car. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Look forward to seeing you tonight.
Well, there we go, Pete. A late night lap around the Red Bull Ring. Hope I did that one a little bit of justice. Definitely wasn't as quick as the guys at the front. As I just said, Jordan Ross leading the way with a 139.56. But that's a lap around the Red Bull Ring in the TCR car. It's going to create a lot of good racing tonight. We've got a field of nearly 40 drivers around the Spielberg track. So there's going to be a lot of great racing, a lot of passing opportunities, a lot of undulations through the braking zones. They are front-wheel drive cars as well, so they don't rotate through the corners as easy as you would think. If you get on the gas earlier, they like to push to the outside. So it's going to create a lot of great racing. We did see that exactly for round number 1 that we brought to you this time last week on the InterSim Esports Network from Mount Panorama Bathurst on what was a chocker grid of about 56 cars. But good to see well over 30 cars here joining for round number 2 tonight, Pete.
Yeah, definitely. And just make mention of some of these names. There's some names that I'm pretty sort of aware of. We've got Jordan Ross, he'll be there and thereabouts. Up the top, Tom Freer, Damon Mulqueen, good to call the race with him in here again. Brian Borger, Mar Sharma, Dion DeGraff, sorry, mate. There's so many drivers that I've called races for in the past. Old mate Jake Craven is in here as well, Jake Edwards. And this is going to be a great night of racing. As you mentioned too, we did have 50 cars around Mount Panorama last week. It is a little bit slightly depleted, only slightly. We have 38 cars, and I think that's going to create a little bit better racing, if you ask me, because if you have 50 cars as opposed to 38, you got more room. Less room when you got 50 as opposed to 38. And around here, even though they're front-wheel drive cars, I think these cars are going to suit it very well. But 38, I think that's a good number.
Yeah, it'll be a good number. 38's a great number on any league or any track, mind you, but 38 around here is going to be absolutely cracking to watch as we're 22 minutes, nearly 23 minutes now into this qualifying session. Look like Jordan Ross at the moment. He's not going to be tipped for that pole position, but still another 2.5 minutes for someone to come and give him a little bit of a run for his money. But what I noticed doing a couple of laps last night around the Red Bull Ring, Peter, is draft's going to be a big component to this race, especially down into this section of the track that we were just seeing there. There's going to be big drafts coming down. We're going to see probably some 2-3 wide action, and they're going down into some really heavy downhill braking sections. And it's hard enough sometimes to get the car pulled up and rotated through the corner with nobody around you, let alone trying to fight for track position with 3, 4, 5, 6 cars trying to battle you. So it's going to be fun to watch to see how these guys navigate their way around the Red Bull Ring as we go to the green flag. There's a bit of a Budweiser livery there, Pete. You'd appreciate that. You don't mind a beer yourself. Who doesn't mind a beer? But Budweiser livery going around. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We're on board with Ruben Phelps at the moment out of New Zealand. He's sitting back there in the 24th position. Now just drops back to 25th. We'll see where he puts him this time across the line, whether he can better his time, and he does. And he just jumps up to 24th. Again with a 141.46. So good to see Ruben, my ex-teammate, jumping on board, having a run here for the second round of the MSR TCR League, mate.
Yeah, definitely. There is heaps of well-known names, and Ruben Phelps is going to be there and thereabouts as well. But just hearing him here now, Tom Freer just pips Jordan Ross at the dying stage of this qualifying. Actually, with identical times, 1:39.56.
Can't get any closer than that, can you?
One's 5:58, one's 5:62. I think my SDK is set up a little bit different, but that's okay. They are close. It rounds up to 5.6, so, it's going to be good. Can they maintain that gap throughout the race? The only time will tell, and we've only got about 30 seconds left before we go green here, and down to turn 1, it's going to be something to watch.
Yeah, and viewers, I'll just have to jump in and second that on the start, as we did see Tom Freer just get the chocolates over Jordan Ross and take the provisional pole at the moment, 15 seconds to go. What we're going to have to look at here at the race start, it is a standing start, but Tom Freer is going to be on the dirty side of the track on the inside. So can he get his TCR car off the line and have it on the right side of the road into turn number 1 and get the job done on Jordan Ross early? But I tell you what, I'd much rather probably be starting out a second position in this one, Pete. On the clean line, there's no marbles there. It's all about getting the power down in these front wheel drives. You saw me do a couple of practice starts last night, and as much as don't have the most horsepower out there, they definitely have enough to get the wheel spin going off the start.
Yeah, definitely. It's like sort of the old MX-5s, although this is front-wheel drive, where you do get a little bit of wheel spin, unlike the MX-5s now, where you don't. But these cars, they're pretty tricky to get off the line, but yeah, it's not as tricky as a nice, V8 supercar or a GT3 car, and that's just going to allow for 2, 3, 4 wide. Watch for the field to spread out over the line.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait. But we've only got about 8 seconds left in the qualifying session. So it looks like it's all done and dusted here for round number 2 of the MSR TCR series from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg Austria. So looking forward to this one. So once this session finishes, we'll bring up for your starting grid for tonight. We were going to have 2 races, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise. There is only 1 race tonight, and we've joined the both races together. 27% fuel drop, so there will be mandatory pit stops, or not mandatory, but they will have to pit stop. They will not get to the end on fuel, and it will be 1 race tonight. So looking forward to that one. But we'll go through and bring up your starting grid for what will be round 2 of the MSR TCR series in just a second, as the drivers are still just trying to finish off on their qualifying session. It just takes a little bit for the session to roll over. As you can see, Barry there on the main straight waving his checkered flag. So thank you, Barry, for making yourself available tonight, mate, waving your checkered flag. So hopefully people aren't seeing Sonia down in the medical centre tonight. We used to always have jokes in our oval racing when we're on broadcast that we were seeing how Sonia was every time we crashed out and got up on the broadcast booth, because we were down in the medical centre. So Barry's now the one starting the green flag tonight, and he's got all the flags in his hands as well. We do have live race control though, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. We've got Andy Barber doing that one, so we've got live race control. The drivers will have that in their ears, so if there are incidents and penalties are applied, that will be done live. You won't see it here on the broadcast. We'll be sure to bring you what the penalties are, but there is live race control. So we'll go through your grid here for round number 2 of the MSR TCR League from the Red Bull Ring. Tom Freer will start off the front row in pole with Jordan Ross on the outside of that front row in 2. It'll be Freeman, Burke, 3 and 4, Mulqueen, Martin, Brunt, Borg, Hunter, Hasler, De Graaf and Sharma in your 11th and 12th position. Out of 13th will be Mel, 14th Edwards, 15th Schultz, Ford, Green, Smith, Patullo, Timores, Ruben Phelps, 21, Bowen, 22, Pavlovich, 23, and Brock Smith, 24. Sorry to be going through real quick. It's a big field. Out of 25th will be Horwell, Millard, then Cook, Smith, Brad Fenley, Ingwerson, Mortensen, Craven, Cross, Robertson, Walton, and Luke Swan out of the 36th position. 37th will be Stuart Patterson, and rounding out your 38 starters tonight is Brody Sentence. So 38 cars tonight, Pete. Looking forward to this one. Sorry, I couldn't really get you across into that little segue because I had to go through the grid really quick because they joined quick, and I found last week I only got halfway through the field before we went green with 58 cars. But anyway, we're about to go green here for round number 2. It's the Red Bull Ring. Strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen, here on the InterSim Esports Network, because you're about to witness about an hour and 15 minutes of racing you will not want to tune away from. So share our stream. Get amongst it. Get everyone amongst this. We'll have a look at that grid. Look, they're nearly onto the entry of the main straight. So we're about to go green. Tom Freer, Jordan Ross will take us to the green for the first time and only time tonight with Freeman and Burke off that second row. We'll wait for the lights to come up. The nerves will be rising. They'll be ready to get down into turn number 1. 2 JK Signs cars there off the front row. We'll see how that happens. How good do these cameras look, ladies and gentlemen? Get amongst that. These TCR cars around the Red Bull Ring here on the InterSim Esports Network. A big shout out to you, Blocker, Paul, and for doing all the cameras tonight. But the lights are up. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green. We'll wait for them to go out, and we're green here, and there we go. Not going off the line, and we've already got the incident, but we're green, and Jordan Ross got the run, and not sure who that was. I think that was Damon Mulqueen not getting off the start there on the outside of the second row, and that was one of the incidents in real life that you really worry about as a race car driver, because you can't see that. The driver in front of you might move, and then all of a sudden there's a car stopped in front of you. But anyway, we're green. We've gone through turn number 1. We're making our way down into turn number 2 for the first time tonight of what will be 35 laps, and Jordan Ross did get a good start over Tom Freer there, Paul, so it was exactly what I thought there. Oh, that outside line would have been better off the start. So, sorry, Pete, that outside line would have been better off the start, and we saw that with Jordan Ross getting the jump over Tom Freer.
Yeah, and it was good to see them navigate around that car. A little bit of contact, probably friendly contact, pushed him off the off onto the grass. The rest of the field gets around nice, and oh, look at this, 3 wide. You can see these guys are really battling. You got a Marsh Armour for Vast Motorsport, almost 3 wide, but you got Jordan Ross, Freer, Burke, Martin. They're the front guys. And we're back around in the middle field. Well, about 11th position. Here he is, Sharma, around the outside. See what he can do under brakes. He's going to have the dirty line. go around the outside or have an attempt to go around the outside. Have a look at this at the mid-pack. We find ourselves looking at the mid-pack battles each and every week, and he gets that position done. A very clean start to, I might add, Aidan, too. Very, very clean start, apart from the only incident that I'm seeing is the stalled car.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Apart from that little stalled car, which I wouldn't even call an incident because whoever just made a little bit of contact, that's just going to happen. But running 2-3 wide here through, and I pretty much guessed they'd do that early on, and not pretty much one touch that we could see. But and then I say that, and Kurt Ingwersen there, he's had a big moment in the front of his Marlboro TCR car. Looks a little bit second-hand there, so we'll go back to the replay and have a look at what happened with Kurt. All right, so there's a big crash in the background that we're just getting the back end of that at the moment. Oh no, Kurt, he was actually an innocent player there. He was coming around. There was an incident already in front of him and he had nowhere to go, and that's not over. So we'll just have another shot at that one and see if we can get more information here. So you can see Kurt there. Yeah, he's just overrun it into the corner, but there was already an accident happening in front of him and nowhere to go, and that's not over. Brett Smith there with an incident in the 36. So,
Just loses his wheel as well, Aidan. You can see that, the new damage model in iRacing just recently, the wheel come off in that incident, but that's unlucky for them. But the race has to go on, doesn't it? Back up the front, these two JK signs, they're looking good. There's not much between them either. The gaps are very fine, but these guys are starting to check out from the third place Martin and Borg. But it's a big race, and remember, no mandatory pit stop, but the fuel won't last to the end. So do half these guys know? I hope not.
Yeah, well, I hope not too, because that'll definitely change it up for us here in the broadcast booth, mate, for sure. So, yeah, I hope not, but it'll be interesting to see whether they decide to do the undercut, if they can get their head around, which was only a short practice and really relatively short qualifying session to get their head around how many laps they'll get out of this. Oh, as there's a big lock up there into turn number one. They got away with that one. So it is status quo now, but you might want to go, okay, I'm going to run this first stint as short as I can and just top it up right to the end, and there might be other drivers that are going to go, I want to run my tank completely dry and have a shorter one at the end as well. So different strategies, different things. It also comes down to where you are on the racetrack, whether you're battling in like here that we're looking at now with Jake Edwards, whether you want to get out of that one as quick as you can, but with the fuel drop and what we're seeing, you're still going to have to battle for quite a few laps yet. So we'll see how that happens, but it's currently Jordan Ross and Todd Freer. They are in the box seat. That's where I'd want to be. You're controlling the race at the front, and their teammates, by the looks of it, as the car goes a little bit wide there on the exit of the turn. But their teammates there, they'll probably be working with each other a little bit, and that's what's helping them just take off at the front at the moment. We've got a battle between Brian Borg and Wayne Burke there. So, but these front guys, you look at their last lap, they're like high 139s, 140 flats. So they're going to be working together with that draft to try and pull away from Thomas Martin. But this battle, I tell you what, that's spicing up at the moment. Wayne Burke in 5th position. Brian Borg getting a little bit loose there. Another thing, Pete, though, that you need to look out for, which you're well aware of, it's not your first rodeo here on iRacing, but off tracks. Getting too much off the track, exceeding track limits and getting those X points and stuff. It's definitely easy to do here around the Red Bull Ring, especially through the final 2 turns where you can take a lot of the apron on exit, but it is a fine line on taking too much or not enough, and that can sometimes ruin your race if you're trying a little bit too hard, which happens with me most days, and you can end up getting a drive-through penalty. But we'll see. Oh, there's contact there going into the hairpin, but yeah, Peter, I might just jump down. I'll have a chat to race control and see if anything came out of that first incident.
Yeah, sure. Andy Barber, you go have a chat with him in race control. Just touching on the incident points. I'm not too sure exactly how many. I'm sure Aidan will get back with to that, but you can actually use them to your advantage if you sort of bank them for the dying stages of the race. Like these guys here, they're going to be there and thereabouts. That's Freer and Tom Freer and Jordan Ross, they'll probably bank a couple of their incident points just to get that little bit of an edge, maybe outside the spirit of the racing, but not outside the rules, because if you've got them incident points to use. But look at these guys, both JK Signs liveries, and they're leading it around, and they've got probably about a 4/10 gap between themselves and Martin. It's Thomas Martin, not Todd Martin. That's a sneaky plug to Todd Martin there, but no, we've got a slow car down the straight already, so they're, I think that's an out of sequence car already.
Yeah, I'll jump in there with you, Pete. Yep, already going laps down, and we've got another incident, I think. Neville's just jumped to pit lane there, so might just have a quick look what happened to Neville there.
Yeah, I can see that on my timing as well, as we'll go have a look at a replay and dissect what happened. He jumped to pits as well, so I'm not too sure about the ruling of that. We'll leave a race control. Look, he just grabs that little bit extra line that we just called on. Oh, I'm not too sure. What was that? The angle we seen wasn't probably the best. He maybe have his engine expired.
Yeah, engine expired, or a little bit of hardware issue there, because that was a little bit weird. But sorry, boys, I'm back up from race control. Had a little bit of chat to Andy. Don't mean to jump in while you're talking about that, but that first incident is deemed as just a racing incident between those guys. The incident happened in two separate components, so unfortunate for the driver that got caught up in it and the outside behind, but yeah, so that racing incident for that one, and we move on, we keep going.
Yeah, definitely. So race control's busy already, although not too busy. Not too busy on his first night out in race control. Hopefully he's not panicking too much. We're riding on board with Dion de Graaf. Haven't called a race with him in for some time. He's currently sitting. Hey, look at this. Straight away changes the camera. I know he's playing the game.
He does it to me all the time, Pete. Don't worry about it. He does it to me all the time. You start talking and he just throws you under the bus. It's what PJ does, mate.
It was changed long before you even said riding on board. You were just too slow to keep up.
That's all right, mate. Yeah, it's a totally different kettle of fish where you're commentating and pressing the buttons in there. But we are back on board with Dion de Graaf, and just touching on what I was saying, haven't called a race for him for a while. He's sporting the Simblacks livery. He's going to be strong tonight. Currently sitting in 10th and also 10 seconds behind the leader. Up in front, Sharma and Hunter having a pretty good battle. And Amar Sharma is car number 90, Vast Motorsport, in the top 10 for this one, up 4 positions where he started. And that's the orange-blue livery. So you can see, well, you will see all these guys just slowly move up the standings tonight, because they're battling hard.
Yeah, they are. It's good to see Amar up there 4 spots in his starting position. That probably puts me into a segue. Let's let the viewers know a couple of drivers that have had some good starts here. Aidan Ford's up 5 positions. He's in the 11th spot as well. Nicholas Tamores there's up 4 spots. He's in the 16th position. Brock Smith up 4 spots in 20th. Phelpsy, Ruben Phelps up there into 18th. So I'm starting out at 21st. So a couple of good early starts to people. I saw Schultze in there, Jai Schultz. He's my namesake, but no relative, to be honest, and he's had a good one as well. He's currently up in the 13th position, but we're on board with the moment, at the moment, if I can get my name out, it's Ruben Phelps there. Decides I'm jumping into pit lane, and Shane Bowen there was in behind him. But yeah, that was a really late call from Ruben Phelps to jump into pit lane there, Pete, and he did a really good job to get the car in there and pull it up.
Yeah, sometimes you got to. Maybe it was in a heat of a battle, and you just pull yourself out of that sometimes. Like, it is a fairly long race, 35 laps, 7 down already, and maybe he's just like, you know what, I can make it home from here. Let's dive in, give myself some clean air, get some fast lap times done, and try with the undercut. And let's see if that pays off. Riding up the front, have a look at these front cars. Now that's showing off in it. JK Signs 1, 2, and 3, and possibly even 4.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit hard at the moment, because yeah, they all look the same. So Yeah, but they're doing a great job at the moment, and Tom Freer and Jordan Ross still is leading the way 2 seconds over Thomas Martin and Damon Mulqueen as we're on board now. But let's settle things down a bit. They're in the pit window. We saw Ruben Phelps just take the opportunity to come in and go, I'm going to go early, and we'll see where he falls out in the field once he takes his stop. He's one of the only drivers to go through pit lane. So let's go on board with Jordan Ross, currently sitting in second spot as they come around the back end of the track, and let's do a lap or a lap and a half around the Red Bull Ring in race mode here on board with the 143 of Jordan Ross.
Go split. Yep.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A lap around the Red Bull Ring on board with the 143 of Jordan Ross. That's what it's like to chase your teammate down for a lap around the Red Bull Ring. But how good were those pictures, Pete? We had the double screen there. We had on board, obviously, with Jordan Ross, and then seeing what they're doing on track at the same time. How good are those pictures here on the InSim Esports Network?
Yeah, it looked absolutely brilliant, didn't it? And we got to see just how close these boys were battling, and they're still battling as the race goes on. And they've got they're going to have some out-of-sequence cars to contend with as well, but that's probably a little bit further on in the field. But we go down to about the middle pack, and we always find ourselves in the middle pack, and we have another battle. They're just as close. That's Green and Smith. As I think that's Green just making the move on Smith, gets it done now. And he's going to be, so Green's going to have, Smith's going to have a little bit of pressure because there's a 3-car chain, so they're all working together now, and I think that's a good move. Work together and just pick them off one at a time.
Yeah, he will have a bit of pressure, but he got a good run there trying to get the over and under done. I thought he was going to get a bit of run down into this downhill braking section, as you see Green just get a little bit late on the brakes and not quite get the car through the apex. So that's allowed Smith to just range right up on the back of him now, and you go through the tricky double left-hander here through the middle section of the Red Bull Ring race circuit. It's really hard to get the car rotated through there sometimes, especially when you're in behind a car being a front-wheel drive. So he's going to set himself up and possibly make a move and try and repay the favour into turn number 1 if he can get the run. Do not count off the 3 guys, or count out the 3 guys behind, mind you, but we'll just keep on board with this little battle because I'll go up into the final 2 right-hand corners. And I possibly, or see how loose that car just got on the rear, and he's decided, I'm getting out of this battle, I'm going into pit lane. So I'm a little bit disappointed there. We didn't see how that battle was going to play out, but Smith decided, I'm out of this one, I'm not racing you at the moment, I'm going to go into pit lane and I'll race you later on in the race.
Sometimes that's the sensible thing to do, isn't it? Get out of the battle because everyone has to pit. Well, do they know? Not too sure. But Bowen and Borg right behind now. We all know how quick Brian Borg is, currently sitting in 16th, just at the back of this 3 to 4 car battle. And once again, those 3 cars behind. So what we're seeing, Aidan, is just battles throughout the field. The leaders are still up the front battling just as close as they had from lap 1.
Yeah, they have, and Brian was caught up. Oh, there's a big crash I can see somewhere in my ear at the moment. But Brian Borg got caught up in an incident earlier. He's 8 spots down in his starting position. So he's pretty much playing the recovery mission at the moment as we go across to Nicholas Tamores there in the 14th position. He's got Russ Green just in front of him. So I heard in my ear that there was an incident somewhere, but I haven't seen that, but I think it was just a little bit of a love tap there and a little bit of an incident, and it's all fair and love and more, and they keep going. But this battle between Nicholas Tamores and Russ Green is definitely heating up here too. So let's see how these these pit strategies play out. At the moment, Jai Schultz is the best one. He's the first one that's come down pit lane, and he's got the best track position of anyone. He's in 26th position at the moment. The next one is in 29th, which is Troy Mortensen. So we did see Ruben Phelps come down pit lane earlier as well. But this is the difference on strategy. So what I'm looking forward to see now is we're 11 laps into 35. Still a long way to go. We're only just about to click over a third of the way through here for round number 2 of the MSR TCR series from the Red Bull Ring. Is the tyre wear and how that's going to play out. Is the undercut going to play a part? As the big moment there for Jake Edwards. His car looks a little bit second-hand as he makes his way down the straight there out of turn number 1.
Yeah, so big bit of damage there. We can go and have a look as we stay live and have a look at that replay as it happens. If PJ wants, he's just pulling over there. As we'll go a replay. Let's see what happened, because that front left tyre just wanted to, it was only hanging on by a thread. And these cars, oh, look at this. Just look at that axle.
He's caught the sausage curb. Being the front wheel drive, he's tried to correct it, and wherever you point your wheels, where the car's going to go, and it just got sent straight into the outside wall. And that is night over for the 912 of Jake Edwards.
Yeah, that would be night over. The cars behind all get through, and just a little bit after that, he pulls out, and I'm pretty sure towed the pits. So, yeah, that's interesting. There he is there in the pits now. Also, Aidan, do they have fast repairs, and how many?
That's a really, really good question, and I don't believe they do. So if they do, we'll find out with our live timing very shortly if we see Jake Edwards, if I have 3 goes at getting it out. Jake Edwards come out and have a clean car. So not sure whether they do. I believe they might have had one around Bathurst, but at the moment it's not going to matter the guys at the front, even as we're on board with Richard Hunter at the moment. He's in the 9th position. He's neither up or down. He started out of 9th. He's not one we've spoken about yet tonight. He hasn't been a part of anything, so he's playing the safe race at the moment. He's doing a great job, and he's chasing down a Marsh Armour at the moment that you can see from Bass Motorsport there in 8th position.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full too. Amar Practice, he races real world as well up here in Queensland. So let's see what he can do. But it's racing, millions of moving parts. Don't want to put the commentator's curse on Sharma, but yeah, if you push too hard or don't get your strategy right, or just unaware that you have to pit, I'm sure they do know they have to pit by now. Plenty of practice gets put in these events. And I tell you, just touching on the league, MSR, the TCR league, they were quick out of the blocks, probably one of the first leagues to throw on a TCR league with all these new drivers. As you see, Borgie in a 3-car battle, almost 3 wide, but they pulled out of it.
Yeah, good driving there by both drivers there through these tricky 2 left-hand corners. You can see that Smith there is pretty much stuck on the outside line. He's going to have to sacrifice another position there, making their way through. Sorry, Smith got the move done. Sorry, my apologies. Just trying to catch up with the cameras, so my apologies. But yeah, Smith getting the job done there. But back to what you were saying about the TCR league there, Pete. Yeah, they were one of the first people to pull the trigger on these TCR cars. There's been updates when there was only ever one TCR car you could run until the last iRacing update. Now they've got the 3 manufacturers, and that's created a lot of interest. And we saw 50, nearly 60 cars for round number 1, and we have nearly a 40-car grid here for round number 2, and it just creates absolute amazing racing, as you see there. Look, we're nearly going 3 wide out of turn number 1. Great car, great concept by the MSR TCR League, and absolute pleasure to bring it to everyone here on the InterSim Esports Network.
Yeah, definitely some good driving so far. There's the battles everywhere. A couple of cars just spread out. Amar Sharma ducked into pits. Jake Craven's up 7 positions in 25th positions also. They're just a couple of the movers. Up 11 for Brendan Walton. Up 10 for Fenley and Smith. And also Josh Millard. And then you got Cooper and Horwell and Brock Smith up 11. So the movers and shakers are everywhere as we jump on board with Todd Martin, making no time away from these leaders.
Yeah, Thomas Martin there. I think those leaders might have had a little bit of a battle there because last time around, Jordan Ross and Tom Freer did a 140.7 high, so pretty much a 140.8, and now Thomas Martin lets us down again and says we can't call a battle, but he's going to jump in. He's going to the undercut. That's what he's doing at the moment, but he pulled 0.6 of a second out of the lead of these two front guys at the moment in that lap previous, so probably a good option there to jump into pit lane and try and get a bit of clean track, as much as it's going to be hard to get some clean track here around the Red Bull Ring with 36 cars. So we'll see how that plays out. Scott Hasler has gone into pit lane. Aidan Ford's in pit lane. Brock Smith, Mr. Brock Smith, as he has in my live timing, is sitting there. He's in pit lane as well. So a lot of the drivers now starting to make their pit stops, but Jordan Ross, Tom Freer, Damon Mulqueen in third now. Wayne Burke, Matthew Brunt, Richard Hunter, Nicholas Tamores in 7th, Brian Borg, Russ Green, and Cooper Horwell, your 10, still yet to come into pit lane. But Jai Schultz, we're on board with him at the moment. He's come through pit lane. He's not quite the first driver that has come through pit lane in relation to track position, so he's in 19th. So the Scott Hasler's been good. He's been through pit lane on lap 13, just a lap prior, and he's come out in 12th position. So Scott Hasler is looking pretty good on his strategy too here, Paul. Sorry.
Yeah, Aidan, what I would what my prediction is, in probably another 3 laps, as you'll see the pit or the main guys pit in, because you'll probably split your race in 2 as we go to a replay.
Yeah, we'll go to a replay and see what happened there. So on board with Josh Millard as he makes his way up into turn number 2. Into this, he's just out-braked himself, and he thought, no, I'll think better of it. But he's disconnected. He's escaped and ejected himself into pit lane. So don't know what happened there with Josh Millard, whether he had something going on in the background or he had a little bit of a malfunction with his equipment. But the race leaders now come into pit lane. So Tom Freer and Jordan Ross, Damon Mulqueen and Matthew Brunt, Nick Tamores, everyone has jumped into pit lane. That's allowed Wayne Burke and Richard Hunter to take first and second in this motor race, but the leaders have decided enough's enough, and it's my turn. I'm coming into pit lane. I would strongly suggest, Pete, they're trying to cover off on that undercut that we saw the drivers try and do just a lap or 2 earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Have a look at this. So here we go. This is Thomas Martin. I'll get it right once. Thomas Martin. There's that undercut you just see. Pips, Ross and Freer, although Freer, actually my timing's a little bit different.
Yeah, timing's going a little bit crazy at the moment, but that was a really, really good stop there by Tom Freer to do it a couple of laps earlier. It did put him not as close as he was coming into pit lane, but I tell you what, Jordan Ross, I don't know what he did in pit lane, because that was a machine of a stop, because he's going to get the lead of this motor race when the likes of Wayne Burke, Hunter and Brian Borg decide to take their pit stop and run out of fuel. But great job there by Jordan Ross. You can see that though, he was stationary. He was stationary his pit lane stationary time was 15.7. Scotty Hasler was only 9.83. So I'm a bit concerned here. I don't think Scott Hasler took tyres. So we'll see what happens there, because everyone else that I'm seeing, Tom Freer, Thomas Martin, Damon Mulqueen, Matthew Brunt, Dion DeGraaf, that's your current 10 at the moment, we're anywhere between those 15 to 13 seconds through pit lane, whereas Scott Hasler was 9.83. So we'll see what happens with Scott as the race goes on. But Pete, I'll just jump down and race control at the moment. I'll let you take over for a sec, and I'll jump back up so we can make sure we bring you all the relevant information here on the InterSim Esports Network to all the viewers.
Yeah, definitely. Aidan will be back with some much needed information from race control. Scotty Hazler, Aidan just mentioned before he took off to race control that he didn't take tyres, or it looks that he didn't take tyres. So that's going to be interesting. Most of the pit lane times there is, as you can see, we got them up on screen, is in between 9, or mainly. Actually, there's a couple of drivers there. I think we've got you in there, Paul. 10 and 50, 4.1 seconds. Maybe there is a faster pair, I think, Paul, for 4.1 seconds.
Yeah, quite possibly, but it does show he's now out, so maybe he's only pulled in and ejected out of that. I'm not too sure what's going on.
But we're riding on board with Jordan Ross, Brian Borg and Hasler. There's your top three. We got Thomas Martin, who I'm going to keep a keen eye on throughout this race, because we've seen him before he made his stop make some ground up. But it's definitely about these two, isn't it, Paul? The top three, just make mention, all Audis, and probably 5 out of the top 6 are Audis as well. It's a very popular choice of cars.
Yeah, I was quite surprised in the first round that we actually had a lot of Audis there, but it's actually great to see a mix of all three class manufacturers there, and we don't have sort of one more dominating over the other manufacturer. It's sort of a mix of all the cars there, but the Audi's just showing a little bit more dominance over the Honda and Hyundai after the first round as well.
Yeah, definitely, and that'll probably change, I think, once everyone starts to get used to the car and the car gets a little bit of updates. iRacing's always onto it, but check this out. Ross, Hasler, Freer, Martin, Burke, that's your top 5, and they're the cars on screen right now. And Ross is just checking off a little bit, and here's Thomas Martin trying to make a move. No, thinks better of it. And
I'm back, gentlemen. And I think this is a really good battle to watch here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network, be sure to share the stream and get everyone amongst it, because this is about to spice up 17 into 35. Watch out for this. He's just having a little bit of a look on the inside there. Thomas Martin is having a look on the inside. But this 4-car train at the moment, if they play this smart, they'll be able to work together and they'll pull right up onto the back of Jordan Ross in the coming laps. So it doesn't look like Thomas Martin was happy to do that, as he's just made the move there into P3. So Thomas Martin wants to go, but now we've got the switchback happening by Tom Freer. He goes, whatever you can do, bud, I can do better. So these guys will want to stop this battle pretty quickly if they want to be in contention to win this motor race at the end. But it looks like these guys are very racy. And Scott Hasler's looking in his rear vision mirror at the moment and going, come on, guys, you keep doing that. This is great. I'll just rein straight up onto the back of Jordan at the moment, as we see another change for position through the final turns. And Thomas Martin's now taken the P3 over Tom Freer once again. So nice little battle here. And Martin's just got a little bit slow and didn't get the exit he wanted out of the final turn, and that's going to allow Tom Freer to be in the perfect position to have a move here into turn number 1. He's thinking a little bit better of it, but I tell you what, the more these guys battle, it's just going to allow the likes of Jordan Ross and Scott Hasler get away at the front.
Yeah, as you see the attitude of Martin's car as he just bumps it over that curb. The rear of the car just takes off the ground and just bounces. I tell you, he didn't even look like he felt it, the car control there, but it definitely these guys. I just said before, Aidan, when you were gone, I'm going to keep a keen eye on Martin, because he's up there with the pace. He's actually not the quickest out of these 3. Tom Freer is the quickest so far, 1:39.9. So he's the fastest out of this sort of 4 top cars so far. Yeah,
fastest lap for the race so far, and that is Tom Freer, 1:39.93. But on last lap times, 1:41.06, 1:41.14 for Jordan Ross and Scott Hasler in first and second. It's 1:41.27 for Thomas Martin last lap round. Tom Freer was at 1:41.72, but those guys were having a little bit of a ding-dong battle. So that's not really a reference on where they are at race pace. So the more they can put their head forward and try and chase, and you can see now that the more that they're doing that, they're catching the leader. We're back on with Aidan Ford. We've just moved back at the moment. Aidan Ford's in the 9th position. He's got a bit of heavy hitting artillery behind him at the moment. He's got Amar Sharma and Jai Schultz there in 10th and 11th, giving him a nice little run for the back end of the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Schultzy too, one of the admins here for the MSR league, and he's doing a good job. I tell you, I wouldn't run a league. It's hard enough broadcasting. But yeah, this 3-car battle's as good as the one at the front as he grabs a lot of that entry curve. He keeps it straight though. That would definitely be an off track, and he's slowing down. He may have got an iRacing slowdown out of that, I think, Aiden.
Yeah, possibly, but he's just rolled out of that one. But Schultz, yeah, doing a good job. He's a good bloke. He's got the same last name as me, although it's spelt different. So definitely a good bloke. He had his hands full tonight before we brought this one to you, doing new servers and everything, and the fact that he had to deal with that and straight into qualifying, and he's up into 11th at the moment. He's doing a good job. So
it's got a bit of love there for Nicholas from Wade Sheedy. So Wade Sheedy saying to Nick to get up there, Nick. So Nick currently sitting in 13th. He's up 7 spots there. So just give Nick some love there for Wade.
Yeah, and I can't see okay, because I can't see the comments here. I'm only looking at Facebook at the moment, and I don't think I have the YouTube comments on my stream chat. So can't see that. So I was like, oh, I didn't see it. But anyway. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, mate, and I hope you're enjoying all the action here on the IndySim Esports Network for what's a sensational series here. But have a look at this one. Amar Sharma, 2 wide through the double left-hander with Aiden Ford. Aiden Ford just gets the job done there. Amar just backs out and thinks better of it and says, no, I'll just have another go later. So Amar Sharma is on the right side of the road, but Aiden Ford had a little bit more... want to have that position and kept it on the outside there, Pete. Oh, as Amar Sharma gets really loose there on the rear under the entry of the second last turn. What great driving control there by Amar Sharma to stop that car from rotating around. These cars are really light in the rear. They're front wheel drive rather. That could have ended Amar Sharma's night, but great driving and great car control there. As Amar's nearly into the back. And yeah, it's definitely happening here, Pete. It's all spicing up. They're not willing to sit there and wait. We're 20 into 35, 15 to go. It's definitely on here in the TCR series for the MSR League.
Yeah, he's in the MSR sandwich, as that just a little bit of a bump allows Ford out of it. And here we go, down the inside, makes the dive from a little bit back. Maybe Amar might have a little bit of a damage, because I think he was mirror driving, as you see, just give. I think it was Ford a shunt into one of the previous corners. Still side by side, and this battle is still heating up. I think Ford's going to have the inside line down the hill. Very hard to get it stopped as you are going down the hill.
Well, that's Schultz making the move on Amar, so Ford already got it done. I think what Amar was thinking there when he saw Jaya come from quite a far way back to try and make that move, and he thought, if I'm turning in here, I might just get clipped on the apex. So he thought better of it, and that's why we're still seeing the battle go. But again, that inside line through these double left-handers as Jai gets really loose there on the entry. But that inside line's not really the best place to be, but and that's really sacrificed Amar, as he's lost 2 positions there in the last 2 laps through those exact 2 corners.
Yeah, that's right, and this battle keeps heating up, and it's just, it's to and fro for most of them as we go back up the front. This is the gap. Jordan Ross for this lead behind him, and what behind him rather, the battle behind him, not lead, he's in the lead. But yeah, so you have a look at this battle, and because they're battling, it's allowing Ross to pull away now. So these guys, although they're different teammates, well, the front guy is, Martin's got past him, so that's good to see. Let's see these 3 cars work as a team and push up onto Ross. We've still got another 14 laps, plenty of time to do it. 5 cars in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, it's what I said earlier. They needed to stop battling and try and race the race in the moment, and that's really sacrificed their track position. But in these cars, it's really hard not to, because it's really hard to get a run, and when you want to be able to make that move and make it decisive. But I tell you what, Jordan Ross doing a great job at the front of this motor race at the moment. He is just a class above. He's sitting in the good spot. He just needs to do 14 more laps of clean if these guys keep going. But these are the battles we need to have a look at. We're on board with Scott Hasler at the moment as we're going back to, I can't see Scott Hasler on my, he's in 5th position. So these are the minor placings. So anywhere from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, it's definitely still anyone's for the minors, as Jordan Ross is leading the way. One mistake from Jordan, though, and this can definitely change quicker than we would even blink there, Pete.
Yeah, definitely. Ross is fighting back from an unfortunate, a race last week. He found himself in a few early errors, but I'm not too sure how he finished off that race. But if he keeps going now, it's his race to lose.
Yeah, definitely. If we go back and look at the last lap time around, he pulled another 0.2, nearly 0.3 of a second on Thomas Martin at the lead, in second place, sorry. So he's doing everything he needs to do at the front of the race. A little bit concerned still for Scotty Hasler sitting there in 5th position with his his pit time. He was 9.83 as opposed to everyone else. And I think that's why we're seeing Scott Hasler make his way and slowly drop positions at the moment. I don't think he took tyres. And his last lap time around, he was actually about 0.5 of a second off the guys in front. So I think that's why we're seeing Scott hemorrhage race positions at the moment. But he's still in a good. He's still in a good spot at the moment. And I'm hearing him here. Some of these early pit stops might have to pit again as well. So Ruben Phelps has gone in the pits again. He came in really early. So this. Single race, people have probably been practicing all week for the 2 races and probably didn't look in their little relatives and what their fuel was, and I think some of them might be getting caught out. So don't write off the fact that the likes of Jordan Ross, Thomas Martin, Tom Freer, Wayne Burke, Scott Hasler, Damon and Queen, all those guys that came through pit lane between lap 14 and 15, don't write it off whether they've got to come through pit lane again yet too, Pete.
Yeah, definitely. So the couple of cars in the pit lane, it's I'm not too sure the fuel burn of these things. If they need a pit again, well
there you go, Pete. Somebody cut you off. Scott Hasler's just jumped down into pit lane. So the one that I was concerned about with his pit lane transit time, I got that one right. I don't get it right often. I got one right, so I'll give myself a Mars bar in the morning. But Scott Hasler is coming to pit lane out of 5th position. So
you might have to fight over that Mars bar off Gradden in the morning.
Have a look at those. We'll just keep an eye on these front guys and see how they're going to go and what their pit lane's going to be. And Scott Hasler, his pit time then was 24.5 seconds as opposed to 9 seconds on his first stop. So a lot of different strategies here playing out, mate.
Yeah, so I wonder if they've worked out that they, or even most of the field, have to pit twice. I can't remember when Jordan Ross pitted. I'll just try and slide across on my screen and find that info out and see just what a rough fuel burn is just based on the people that have pit twice, Aidan.
Yeah, do that and go and bring us all the action or all the inside goss, as we'd like to say, as we're on board with Tom Freer there at the moment. He's in the 3rd position. That's Thomas Martin in front of him in the green and black car. Tom Freer's got Wayne Burke, his teammate, in 3rd position. That gap at the front is just slowly extending still with Jordan Ross. So there's Jordan Ross making his way onto the main straight for the 24th time tonight. Only 11 more circulations here around the Red Bull Ring for Jordan Ross. Last week was the week that could have been for Jordan. He started off the pole at Mount Panorama Bathurst and got into incidents all night, which 50, nearly 60 cars around Bathurst can create. So he's come back out here for round number 2 and he's shown the pace that he's had, and he's done a great job. He got the job done off the start out of P number 2, and he has led the way from the start. So we'll see whether he can keep that one going. But as you see there, Jordan Ross, it's really easy to make a little mistake as he locked the right hand front going into turn number 1. So the pressure could still get to Jordan. He's got Thomas Martin, Tom Freer and Wayne Burke. They're only 3 seconds down the road, but if they could work together here, they might be able to pull up on the back of Jordan Ross if he just has a couple of little brain fades and makes a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely is. I think that was Ford in the pit lane now, so it takes him out of that battle. He drops back to 14, still up 2 from where he's coming from. I'm still trying to get some of this information. It's just all numbers in my head. I'm not really getting making much sense out of it, Aidan. So it's a little bit ambitious in making that shout out, I think.
No, that's all right. We'll just keep rolling on what we got and have a look. I can pretty much see. Well, they got to lap 14 and they wanted to pit, and it's a 35-lap race, I'd strongly suggest they're going to have to pit twice, mate. From what I can see, why would you pit on lap 14 if you could short fill it to the end and get to the end of 35? Because 14 plus 14 in my mass is 28. So I'd strongly suggest these guys are going to go through pit lane again, as Scotty Hasler has been, Matthew Brunt has been, Aidan Ford has been, and Marsh Armour's already come through pit lane twice as well. We did see Jai Schultz come through pit lane twice. So it definitely is a 2 pit stop strategy here at the Red Bull Ring. So these guys at the front are just going to try. What they're going to try to do here is we see Thomas Freeman come into pit lane. If it was me at the front of this motor race, and I'm an average driver, so don't listen to me, I'll probably do better talking, but I'd be running this fuel out as long as I can and make my last stop as short as humanly possible if I'm at the front of this motor race, because you don't want to go back into the battles and get battled. That's just going to slow down your lap pace. So go as long as you can, as long as you're still doing those 140 flats or at least 145s, just go as 140.5s rather, go as long as you can and just make that last little splash and dash of fuel as short as humanly possible to give you a nice little short run to the end. But Pete, what would be your strategy, mate? That's my insight here on the InterSim Esports Network of my absolute lack of knowledge of motorsport, which is wrong. But what's your insight, mate? What would you be doing if you're the likes of Jordan Ross, Thomas Martin and Tom Freer at the front of the motor race?
Well, generally I would have probably tried to, if it was only one stop, well, I just instantly try and split the race in 2. These guys, we all know the calibre. Here we go.
Wayne Burke into pit lane this time round, so he's coming into pit lane out of P3. So Pete, as Wayne Burke goes in, just keep going. What you're saying, sorry?
Yeah, I personally would probably split it in 2, but I think even you're going to see Ross, Martin and Freer and Mulqueen come into the lane once more as well. But that's just grasping at straws. We've got 9 laps to go. I wonder how their gut's feeling about their race.
They're definitely going to have to come into pit lane, mate. There's no way they're going to get to the end. If we're seeing these other guys pit, they wouldn't have pitted on lap 14 if they could split it into 2. There was no reason for them to do that. So lap 14 was probably, or 13 was as much as they could get out of tank of fuel. So we're going to be seeing in the next 2 or 3 laps, you're going to see Jordan Ross, Thomas Martin, Tom Freer, the likes of those guys, have to come into pit lane, as we're on board with the 555 there of Richard Hunter, currently in the 5th position. He's still got to go through pit lane again for the 2nd time tonight, but he is in 5th position. He's lapping similar laps as the race leaders, and he's up 4 spots on his starting position. He started out of P9. We did say earlier in the broadcast, we didn't say a lot about him. He wasn't in any sort of incidents, as we're back to Scott Hasler now in the 23, but yeah, he was doing a good job early in the race. But Scott Hasler, after doing his 2 pit stops now, he's the 2nd one on track behind Wayne Burke that has done the 2 pit stops. Wayne Burke is 8 seconds down the road from Scott at the moment. So one to maybe keep an eye on, Pete and Paul, is the 86 of Wayne Burke. So we saw that undercut was a big factor there on those first pit stops, apart from Jordan Ross's amazing pit stop. But Wayne Burke's the first one that's come through pit lane and can make it to the end on fuel. So we'll see where Wayne Burke comes out. He's currently in 6th spot. Everyone in front of him, Richard Hunter 5th, Damon Mulqueen 4th, Tom Freer 3rd, Thomas Martin in 2nd and Jordan Ross in 1st. I believe still have to come through pit lane. So we'll see where Wayne Burke comes out in this one. But we go across the start finish line, and Wayne's just going to do as quick a laps as he can now and just send that JK Signs number 86 as fast as he can around the Red Bull Ring for the remainder of this one.
Yeah, and he's not too far off the fastest lap of the race too. 140.05 plays 140.02. That's not the fastest lap of the race, but close to it anyway. The fastest lap of the race is 139.93, so not too far down as we get that up on screen now. So he's not the fastest, but he is not far off it.
Well, let's give Wayne Burke a little bit of love here on the InterSim Esports Network. We're 27 into 35. We've got Jordan Ross, Thomas Martin, Tom Freer, Damon Mulqueen and Richard Hunter, we believe, still needing to pit. But let's go on board with Wayne Burke. Give us a second before we bring you the last couple of laps here around the Red Bull Ring. And let's give Wayne Burke a bit of love in the JK Signs 86 and do a lap on board with Wayne Burke around the Red Bull Ring. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of onboard action there on board with Wayne Burke around the Red Bull ring. And there we go. Wayne Burke did come into pit lane. Wayne Burke's already been into pit lane. We did see Thomas Martin come into pit lane. So there was the first of the front 5 that hadn't been through pit lane. They've made their way through pit lane, and Wayne Burke's got that jump over Thomas Martin. So there's the undercut right there, ladies and gentlemen. How's this going to play out for Jordan Ross, Tom Freer, and Richard Hunter at the front? I think Jordan Ross has got enough on the rest of the field at the moment, and possibly Tom Freer as well, to probably not have to worry about Wayne Burke. He's currently 24 seconds behind the lead of this motor race. But looking at pit lane transit time as Jordan Ross is in pit lane. Here's your leader, ladies and gentlemen. The 1:43 of Jordan Ross is into pit lane. Tom Freer is joining him as well. So here it is. This is what we need to look at. Richard Hunter's staying out, or is he going to stay out as he goes through the second last turn? And he's going to stay out as well. So he's going to be a leader this time around in the simrigs.com entry. But Jordan Ross and Tom Freer into pit lane. They're not going to have a long pit stop. It was literally 4 seconds for... Oh no, Tom Freer was 15 seconds. They're still in pit lane. So have a look at Wayne Burke. And let's jump on with Wayne Burke at the moment, Pete, if we can. Let's see where he is on track as opposed to your leaders and see the undercut. So... Wayne Burke, there we go. He's taken the lead of the motor race. He's done it. So there's the strategy. He's got the lead over... I know Richard Hunter hasn't gone down pit lane, but there you go. There's the undercut, and what a great strategy there by the 86 of Wayne Burke, Peter.
Yeah, that was a good strategy. He just chose to just go his own and stay in between his lines, and he gets it done. Can he hold off Jordan Ross? I'm not too sure if he would have done tyres in that stop, but Martin... I don't know, I said it a while back in the race now, but Martin's got the pace, and is he going to have enough time? That's just a a rough guess. He's closing the gap lap by lap. He's right behind Ross. Wayne Burke is going to have older tyres. Oh, look at this down the inside.
Yeah, just getting through some lap traffic there, Peter. Just getting through some lap traffic. So now he's got all eyes forward to try and catch up onto the back of Jordan Ross, and they all have their eyes forward to try and get Wayne Burke. Wayne Burke, I don't believe he took tyres. He was 6 seconds stationary less than the likes of Jordan Ross and Thomas Martin. So he's going to be slower in the back end of this one. But did they have enough time? Next time across the strike, 30 laps of 35. And it's a 3 second or nearly 3 second gap between Wayne Burke and Jordan Ross, Thomas Martin. Richard Hunter, out of the lead of the motor race, has jumped into pit lane now as well. So now it's going to be Wayne Burke taking the lead of the motor race, and that's the gap for the lead at the moment. In the back there, you can see Jordan Ross and Thomas Martin. So that's the lead. There's second, third, fourth, fifth, everyone behind. Do they have enough to catch Wayne Burke? So we'll have a look at the last lap time around. We did see Thomas Martin try and navigate his way around some lap traffic, and we also had Jordan Ross do a pit lane transit. So let's just wait for this next lap around and see what the race pace is between Wayne Burke, Jordan Ross and Thomas Martin. So that's going to be really interesting. It looks like Wayne's just struggling to get that car pulled up a little bit as we go back on board with Scott Hasler for the 7th position. He's got Matthew Brunt all over the back of him, making their way down the back end here of the downhill braking section at the Red Bull ring. And Matthew Brunt's going to get that job done, I believe. So, no, Scotty Hasler got the job done on Matthew Brunt, sorry. Yeah, interesting, but I really need to focus with 30 into 35. I'm really interested to see what this gap does at the front, but this battle's a little bit spicy for the miners. They're going side by side. It's definitely going to be on to the end of this one, Pete, but it's what we thought. It's strategy, and it was all about track position, I think, at the start, and that helped a lot. But from the likes of Tom Freer that led this one early, well, he was off the pole position, and Jordan Ross, who started out at P2. Early on, I was thinking they were going to run away with this one, but I tell you what, it's not all about race pace, it's about strategy, and we're seeing that exactly from Wayne Burke and even Thomas Martin tonight.
Yeah, strategy is going to be the key, and I think the victor of this one will have just had that one better. And their strategy better rather. But what Wayne Burke will be trying not to do is look in his mirror, because Jordan Ross is separated from Thomas Martin just a little bit now. I'm sure if I was Jordan Ross, I'll be looking in the mirror going, just battle, go on guys, slow down. But Thomas Martin, I don't know, I think he's going to pull someone off, I think.
Yeah, well, if we go back to, as we're going on to Scott Hasler, I think there was a bit of an incident here, so we'll just see what happens as the car's blinking there in the background. But what I was interested to see there was the lap times between Wayne Burke, Jordan Ross and Thomas Martin when they got a little bit of clean air without battling with lap traffic, with their different pit strategies and whether it's tyre strategies or whatever. So, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a little bit of an example, as we're 31 to 35, last time around, Wayne Burke did a 140.81. He put another tenth of a second on Jordan Ross. He did a 140.93, and Thomas Martin did a 141.08. Tom Freer there in fourth, 141.14. So Wayne Burke at the front of this motor race is still pretty much just holding it. He's got the pace and holding that gap at the front, so it's definitely his to lose.
Yeah, that's right. But what that can also do is you don't want to push too hard. The race is coming to a close with 4 laps to go. He's got to save what he's got left in the tank. I know the fuel will last. Tyres may not. But Jordan Ross, he's got a full head of steam now. He's really pulling away from Thomas Martin.
Yeah, he's slowly getting away. Last time around, Thomas lost nearly 2 tenths to him. But you can see Thomas slowly ranging up onto the back of him now, so he's getting into the back of the draft. And what I've seen earlier in the race with Thomas, he's going to want to fight for the second position. So I think Jordan Ross, he's going to want to try and catch this gap on Wayne Burke, but I think with 4 laps to go, his biggest thing he needs to be worrying about is Thomas Martin in the third position, because if he allows him to get any closer in that slipstream and get up to him, he can say his challenge for the lead of this motor race, or even the chance at winning on what has been an absolutely flawless night here by Jordan Ross. But Wayne Burke's in the box seat. So this is where the battle's going to be for the second and third place on the podium, and it's getting closer and closer again. You can see it come down my live timing. He dropped a tenth of a second there, just down that straight in the slipstream there, as Jordan Ross goes a little bit wide there on that downhill braking section. That allows another 2 tenths to come out of Thomas for Thomas Martin. So in just a blink of an eye, Pete, he's gone from nearly a second behind to ranging right up onto the back of Jordan Ross for second place in this motor race. And ladies and gentlemen, don't take your eyes off this, because this is going to be a ding-dong battle coming into the back end of this race.
It definitely is going to be a ding-dong battle. And you touched on it at the top of the broadcast too, Ada, that draft is key. Thomas Martin is right up in the draft now, and he's just got to keep a level head, because, it's just another little mistake there from Ross. So has he got the pressure?
Yeah,
has he got the pressure all over him? And
he's got the pressure.
And can he withstand it? That's the thing.
Can Jordan Ross drive in front of him, or is he going to drive in his rear vision mirror? What he needs to do at the moment is hit his braking spots, hit his apexes, and just do the best laps he can do. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's easier said than done when you've got a competitor right in behind you, and the likes of Thomas Martin all in your mirror. You know he's not going away, so you've got to look in your rear vision mirror, because he's going to want to cover off on this move. And I tell you what, it's inevitable that Thomas Martin's going to try and have a lunge here at the end of the motor race. I think Jordan Ross has succumbed and said, okay, I'm not going to win this one. Wayne Burke's off up in the front. He's going to try and just battle out for the second position at the moment, as we see Tom Freer getting right up, Thomas Martin rather, into the slipstream there of Jordan Ross. So it's going to happen. When's it going to happen? Is he going to go early? It's lap 33 into 35. Next time across the strike, we've got 2.5 laps to go now. Next time across the strike will be 2 laps to go. Is Thomas Martin going to play his cards early and try to get the job done? Or is he going to do the Hail Mary on the last lap, Pete? That's going to be the interesting part. So what racecraft and what does Thomas Martin have in his mind to try and get that 71 up into the second place and get that job done on Jordan Ross? And Jordan Ross, who's been dominant all night tonight, he'll be disappointed to be where he is. Still good to be in a P2. I tell you what, if you're disappointed to come P2, that just goes to show how good your night's been. But this battle is about to spice up as they go their way through the last corner this time around, and there will be 1 lap to go. And Pete, call this one around. Thomas Martin, Jordan Ross, who's it going to be?
I'm going to say Martin. But it's just time will tell. They're both good drivers. You've seen a bit of mind games there from Martin, in my opinion, just showing the nose when he was a little bit far back, just getting him to put his eyes in the mirrors and not where it should be. The gap is down to bugger all. You got 2 tenths in it. This is the battle for second and third. We already know Burke's gone 3 seconds off. It's his race. It's done. But the battle, here we go. Is it down here? No.
Yeah,
I think it's still mind games.
Yeah, he's doing mind games. He's just outbraked himself a little bit there, trying to just put the car on the inside. So what he's trying to do at the moment, know this from 25 years of real-world racing, what he's trying to do here, he's just putting his car in the right-hand mirror of Jordan Ross and making Jordan just look, going, is he going to have a big dive bomb here and have a look, and trying to make Jordan drive in his rear vision mirrors. So what Thomas is trying to do here is not try to make the pass. He's trying to allow Jordan Ross to just allow him to make the pass from Jordan Ross making a mistake. So he's trying to put him into a mistake at the moment, but it's getting to a point where that's getting a little bit too far gone. We're a lap and a half to go now. So Jordan Ross doing a great job. He's putting the car in all the right positions. We've only got a lap to go, this time across the strike. So Thomas Martin, now the mind games are gone. You can't put your car in that position. If you want to have a dive, you're going to have a dive. But what he's going to have to do, if he decides to do it, is find the right spot to do it and do it cleanly.
Turn 1 is going to be a good spot to do it. As you see, he's got a good run out of here. Here we go. Watch him. He's in the draft, flashing the lights. I'm going to get this.
There we go. There's the friendly sportsmanship. So he's really putting the pressure on Jordan Ross here. He's a little bit far back to make a run in turn number 1. He gets a really good rotation there through turn number 1. Lap car's going to get out of the way here down the straight, so that's going to be good. So have a look for Thomas Martin. This is going to be his chance down into this downhill braking zone to make the move for second in this motor race. Jordan Ross is going to position his car on the inside and not allow him to get that job done. Is Jordan going to be able to get the car stopped and propped through the corner? And he's done that, and he's got the good run. So Thomas Martin ran it a little bit too hard into the corner there and couldn't get the over and under done. But we're on to another long straight here down into the next corner, and we're going to see status quo. I'd strongly suggest we're going to see Jordan Ross cover off on the inside, Thomas Martin to the outside. He's going to try get the over and under here on the downhill braking section. It's going to put him on the wrong side of the road as they make their way through the double left-hander. But in saying that, we've seen moves on the outside here all night through the double left-hander. Is he going to get the job done? He's not. He's always trying to stay there. He's not going to get the over and under done there. So he's still trying. He's only got one more opportunity to get this job done, and it'd be into this next corner. They make their way through here. So Thomas Martin, one more chance to get the job done. It's Wayne Burke at the front that's got this job done. This is his last chance. The main straight's not long enough. He goes wide. He's going to try send it around the outside. Can he hold it around the outside? No, he can't. Jordan Ross puts that car in a good position. It is Wayne Burke that's going to take the win here for round number 2, and we're going to go 2 wide across the strike for the second position, and it's going to be Jordan Ross holding on to second over Thomas Martin. What racing, guys, there for second and third.
That was absolutely awesome. Jordan Ross, he just backed himself there, didn't he? He had bloody Martin all in his mirrors. But he knew where to position the car, and Martin was trying for the wider entry. Here's another photo finish across the line.
Yeah, that's Matthew Brunt and Scott Hasler there. So photo finishes everywhere. But I tell you what, these races, 35 laps, it might be nearly an hour and a half of racing, but it definitely does not spice up until the end. That's what I love about these races, and I love motorsport because of this and the strategy. You saw Jordan Ross all night pretty much lead the way out the front, set quickest laps of the night. Most nights, most of the time rather, had a 3-second lead, but the other guys in behind just had, I wouldn't say a better strategy, but had the strategy, and it definitely played out to just be an absolutely sensational end to the motor race. It's absolutely great to call. But we're with Russ Green at the moment. He's just trying to finish this one as well. But not just about the top 3 in the motor race at the moment, gentlemen, is everyone here for the MSR TCR League. Great turnout again, and the quality of driving of these drivers is absolutely second to none. The respect that they have for each other and allowing us to bring all this action on the IndySim Esports Network and the quality of racing is just sensational. So everyone involved in the series needs to hold their head up high.
Yeah, that's right. And the I ratings, around this league is fairly high. Wayne Burke, he's got a nearly 6,500. Jordan Ross 5,000, and what comes with that is the racecraft, the knowledge. You don't get a good I rating like that with having a low, without having a low I rating. And just make mention of not someone that was in the lead, top 10 for Shane Bowen. Hard Charger Award tonight goes to him, mate, up 12 positions. So it was a great race for him, but definitely them front three, especially Ross and Martin. That battle towards the end will stay with me for a while.
Yeah, that was a great battle, and it's not necessarily for the lead of the motor race. It's just witnessing some great motorsport and some great driving, and that was sensational driving. It definitely got me on my toes. You can tell when I'm excited, you can't get a word in edgeways. But Thomas Martin there in third. But I tell you, the hard luck story tonight's Tommy Freer starting off the pole position. I did say early in the broadcast he was going to be on the inside. It's going to be hard to get the jump off the start on the dirty side as we've got the positions up, but he comes home in P4, so the one that could have been for Tom. But we'll go through your finishing positions here for round 2 of the MSR TCR League from the Red Bull Ring. It was Wayne Burke bringing it home in the first position, Jordan Ross and Thomas Martin rounding out your 3. Tom Freer come home in P4, Damon Mulqueen in the 5th position, Richard Hunter in the 6th, Matthew Brunt 7th, Scotty Hadsler in 8th, Aidan Ford in 9th, and Shane Bowen rounding out your 10. Thomas Freeman home in the 11th position, Nicholas Tamores there in 12th. Amar Sharma inside the top 10 early. Nice, solid result for him from Midline Sim Racing there in 13th. Brock Smith 14th. Grant Patullo in 15th. Jai Schultz in 16th. Cooper Horwell in 17th. And Brian Borg in your 18th position, Pete.
Yeah, and then we got 19th position. We've got Brad Fenley. He had a pretty good race. Nathan Smith, Russ Green. Then we got Cook, Pavlovich, Smith, Walton, Phelps, Patterson, and Mortensen's your 28 as we go over the page for the last few drivers. There we go.
29th position was Stephen Robertson. 30th was Jake Craven. 31st, Luke Swan. 32nd was Dion de Graaf. 33rd, Josh Millard. 34th, Kurt Ingwerson. 35th was Adam Hughes. Jake Edwards in the 36th position. Neville Mell in the 37. And rounding out your 38 starters tonight was Harrison Cross.
Yeah, definitely. It was awesome. And a couple of the Crisscross racing team members just a little bit further back than what they wanted. And jump onto the Crisscross page. Sneaky plug here, Aiden. Bathurst 1000 coming up in January. Go check that out.
Yeah, well, it looks like me and Paul might have another Bathurst 1000 to do where we'll bin the car 130 laps in. So we definitely might get a part of that one for the NSM Esports Network. So we've got a bit of redemption. But and by then, I'll be able to see where I'm going, so that'll help. But anyway, not about me, but that is going to be a good series there in January. Bathurst 1000s, they come everywhere here on the iRacing platform. Doesn't matter whether you're in October, November, they come everywhere. So it's good, and they're absolutely great events to be a part of. So I'm just looking in the Discord at the moment. I'm trying to see whether anyone's in here to have a chat, whether we've got Wayne, Jordan, or Thomas. So I'll just go through at the moment. I can see Wayne and Thomas. I'll just look for Jordan. I'll move them up anyway into the booth, and we'll see if we can have chat, because I know last week we could only... oh, no, it's already been done. So we got Wayne and Thomas up in the broadcast booth. Jordan Ross not available at the moment, so we're going to be one short again here for the broadcast by the looks of it for the post-race interviews. But we'll just go straight into it. We'll go to Thomas Martin. P3 tonight, Thomas, mate. I tell you what, you gave Jordan Ross a bit of a run for his money at the end of that one. Go back and watch that broadcast, because that was a bit exciting. But see, Jordan in the 143, he made his TCR car as wide as possible. But I tell you what, you guys put on some great racing tonight.
Yeah, that was definitely good fun. I didn't have enough on full fuel load, so when the fuel came down, it was great. But yeah, that was a really fun battle. So congrats to Jordan and Wayne.
Yeah, it was a good run. Jordan's not up here at the moment, but we could see you quick early. You're making a lot of moves early. Your strategy was good. Your pit lane strategy was a lap or two shorter than the people in front. Wayne got the job done with an awesome pit lane strategy, and that's what got him the job with the undercut. And I think it really more so goes to what you said, when you had the full tank of fuel, You struggled a bit where other people may not have. There were different tyre strategies. Obviously, you don't have to take tyres, all those things. But, mate, you started out of P2. Started out of P6, come home in P3. You got to be happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely happy with that. After throwing away a win at Bathurst, it was good to get a good result tonight. So, yeah, really happy with that, and hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the series.
Well, Pete, over to you, mate.
Yeah, Thomas, it's Pete here, mate. Hey, talk us through the last couple of battles. Did you just spoke of you were pretty quick with the fuel levels, a little bit lower than when they were full. Did you think with maybe another lap or two, you might have just pipped him on the final stage?
I think given another lap, I may have gotten him. I was pretty confident hanging it around the outside there, but yeah, he made the car very wide, so it made it very tough. But yeah, it was an awesome battle, so I'll get him next time.
Hopefully, mate. And what would you take out of this round leading into next round? If you find yourself in the heat of the battle, can you pick points from that battle to possibly, take out of this one into the next round?
I'm not really sure if there's too much that I'd do different. I think I caught him a bit too late to really try anything apart from what I did. So, yeah, not disappointed about it. It was a good battle, good fun. So happy with P3 tonight.
Well, mate, definitely a good job, and it was absolutely amazing calling it up here on the InterSim Esports Network. Be sure to jump back and have a look at the broadcast. It was a little bit hard last week around Bathurst with so many cars, but it made it a lot easier tonight, even with still a chocker grid of 36 or 38 cars. But, mate, I'm sure you're going to be happy with that one. Go back and watch that one because it was a lot of fun. But, ladies and gentlemen, your third place getter tonight was the 71 of Thomas Martin. Thomas, mate, big shout out to all your sponsors, everyone involved for your P3.
Yeah, shout out to IRT Esports, Sim Magic as well. Yeah, that's about it. Cheers, boys.
No worries at all, mate. You go and relax and calm the old, not the nerves, but just settle the body down and get the old sweat off and go and relax and have a good night and get ready. And you and your family have a great Christmas, mate. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your third place getter tonight. It was the 71 of Thomas Martin. We don't have your second place getter, Jordan Ross, up in the booth, unfortunately, at this stage. But we'll go straight across to your winner, Wayne Burke. Wayne, mate, started out of P number 4. Strategy was key in that one. You got the undercut on that last stop, and that was it. You had the 3-second gap on the guys in front once they started battle, and you would have been looking in your mirror and going, this is gold, boys. You keep doing that. I'm just going to keep going around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was really nice to get that undercut on the boys and get that nice 3-second gap. And then when they started fighting, it just made my life so much easier. I could just look after the tyres and everything and get to the end.
Well, what did you see on strategy-wise? I saw there that, you were shorter in your stop, obviously, which gave you the undercut. Did you recognise that earlier and thought, I'm just going to take the pain early and come in and try and set up to the back end of the race? Is that how you managed it?
Yeah, so I knew early, being that it's such a draft-heavy racetrack, saving fuel would be key, just to shorten that pit stop time. So I bet pretty much from lap 1 onwards in the draft, I just started saving fuel, and it was all looking towards that last pit stop to make that last pit stop as short as possible.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was saying that in the broadcast too. That's exactly what I would have done. And I might be good mentally when it comes to racing, but the driving part sometimes lets me down. But that's exactly what you did. But Pete, mate, over to you. Have a chat to Wayne for his P1.
Yeah, Wayne, it's Pete here, mate. Hey, yeah, good to see you. To win, and it would have been nice to look at them guys in the rearview mirror. Aiden pretty much covered on most of it. But is there anything you'll take out of this race into the next round?
Yeah, a little bits. Like, I made a couple of silly mistakes at the start and got myself a couple of slowdowns on the first couple of laps. So I fell a bit backwards, which wasn't the greatest thing for my strategy. So I just need to tidy up that part of my race. And then, it was obviously good to have good race pace, and that could definitely take that into next week. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just to tidy up a couple of little mistakes I made at the start of the race, and then it'll be even better next week.
And just talk us through the track too. We noticed that the back end was like they had no suspension. It was just running springs. Sometimes you hit them hot dogs. I'm not too sure if we caught your car doing it, but what does it feel like as a driver? When you hit that hot dog, especially here at Red Bull, and you just feel the back end just bounce around.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh. You can definitely feel it, like it just wants to bounce, and then you sort of don't know where you're going to land. And so that was pretty tough, especially the inside of like turn 1 and the last turn. They can be really savage and push you wide, and then you're at risk of getting slowdowns and with the incident limits. So you've got to sort of keep track of your off tracks through the race as well. So yeah, it can get pretty tricky, and they can really upset the car.
Well, you looked good on track tonight, mate. So congratulations on your P1. I'll throw it back to Aidan.
Well, Wayne, I'll say the same thing. Congratulations on your P1. Sensational drive tonight. Not only did you have race pace, you had the strategy, and that's how you got the job done tonight. So, mate, big shout out to all your sponsors, everyone involved, for taking the win here for round number 2 of the MSR TCR League from the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, thanks, guys. I'd have to thank Synergy Sim Racing, our sponsors JK Signs and Aftershock PCs, and then also the guys at MSR for putting on the series. Good fun, and getting you guys to broadcast it. It's great. No worries at all, mate. Well said. But congratulations once again on your P1. We wish you a Merry Christmas and have a nice and safe holiday period. And we look forward to seeing you back here for round number 3. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner for race number 2 of the MSR TCR League from the Red Bull Ring. It was Wayne Burke. But we'll just wrap up the broadcast shortly for what is our last broadcast of the season before we go into the festive season. But Pete, thanks for joining me in the booth, mate. A little bit of a recap. How do you think the night went? How do you like the racing, mate?
Yeah, I love the racing, especially that battle towards the end, the strategies. It was very fluid throughout the whole field. Everyone was on different strategies. Good to see and call the race with so many well-known iRacers, and there's a few in there that I've called heaps of races for, so it was good to have some familiar faces. But yeah, just to you sort of second what you said, Aidan, hope everyone behind the scenes, and Andy Barber, hope he had a good night in race control on debut. I'm sure he did. And yeah, I hope all the viewers have a good Christmas and have a good New Year. And we'll see you back next year, Aidan. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and you could probably hear my voice furthermore in the series. But yeah, definitely a cracking night of racing, especially that battle towards the end of the night. Yeah, definitely. And I just need to say personally to all the viewers, thank you everyone that's tuned in here on the InterSim Esports Network across the 2021 racing season. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all the different broadcasts. We hope you've enjoyed it. Paul, jump into the chat. Big thank you to you too, Paul. You do the job and jump in and commentate sometimes while you're trying to do the cameras. You do a great job with the cameras as well. So I'll let you jump in. We go into Christmas. It's the time to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. You jump in, have your voice on the broadcast tonight. And what was your thought on the 2021 racing season, where InterSim Esports Network's come, and what we've got coming up in 2022?
Well, it's come and gone pretty quick this year, hasn't it? When we first started out our own series and then picking up a few leagues, and now here we are at the end of the year. And yeah, it's pretty good. Exciting times ahead as well. So looking forward to bringing you more of the MSR League TCR series in the coming year. And see what else is in store for us next year as we make our return to a bit of full-time racing as well, Aidan. So good to be back in the driver's seat again as well. So we might see a few of the guys out on track, but they'll probably see us. They'll probably see us when they pass us.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to second that one. I think some of these guys, we might just be watching them go off into the distance. But anyway, it's been great bringing all the action to you on the InterSim Esports Network across 2021 for what has been a sensational season, and it's been an absolute pleasure to bring it to all the viewers here. And without you viewers, we do not have a network and without the leagues, and especially the MSR TCR League for getting us on board, and we're very proud to be a part of it, and we wouldn't be able to bring anything. Of course, we've still got another 4 rounds of the MSR TCR League to go in 2022. We've also got to bring you the remainder of the Australasian Supercar E-Series after this Christmas break, but we'll bring the end of the night to an end, if that's even the way to articulate. But anyway, that's the way I usually roll. But we'll bring the night to an end, and we'll thank everyone for tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network. From Paul and myself and everyone, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe, and we look forward to seeing you in 2022.